Our province is in the midst of a generational economic shift. We need a new economic strategy, and we need it now. It's time for us to forge a new path together. We must build a modern, diversified economy, one that benefits all Albertans and one where nobody is left behind. This will not be easy, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. I want to have a conversation about how we can overcome the economic challenges we face as a province. Because I am confident that the answers lie within our greatest resource, our people. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a tradesperson, a caregiver or a day trader, Alberta's advantage isn't under the ground, it's walking on top of it. It's everyday working folks like you that make Alberta strong. And that's why I want to bring Albertans together. To those who support us already but believe we need an economic vision, this is the beginning of that conversation. And to those Albertans who voted for Jason Kenney, who think of themselves as small C Conservatives, but who wonder whether the UCP have the answers to our province's greatest challenges, well, we want to earn your support. We want to involve you in this discussion. We want your help. We've been through so much together already. Not only are we struggling in the face of the worldwide COVID-19 pandemic, we're also in the midst of an unprecedented economic downturn, spurred by the crash in global oil prices. Hundreds of thousands of Albertans have lost their jobs. Businesses have had to close their doors, some for good. 1 in 5 mortgages is in deferral, and unemployment is the highest it's been in decades. Meanwhile, some Albertans have gotten sick, and some have lost loved ones. Our condolences go out to each and every one of them. Our actions now will set the stage for years, even decades to come. How we respond today will define our tomorrow. We can't keep recycling the same old failed economic recipes and expecting different results. Mr. Kenney claimed that handing over $4.7 billion to big corporations would give our economy a shot of adrenaline, create jobs, and flood the province with investment. It did nothing of the sort. The budget deficit doubled, the economy shrank, and 50,000 Albertans lost their jobs. Companies like Husky laid off hundreds, and giants like Kenney, now Oventip, left the province altogether. Many more either rewarded their foreign shareholders or took it and invested elsewhere. That was all before the pandemic. There was no adrenaline. Jason Kenney's strategy turned out to be a poison pill. Today, the deficit stands at more than $24 billion, with zero benefit to working people. Countless opportunities have been lost as programs were canceled in technology, innovation, artificial intelligence, film, tourism, renewable energy, energy efficiency, and petrochemicals. And deep cuts to primary and post-secondary education, to healthcare, and to environmental programs are only hurting our economy. In fact, it's those types of programs and services that global investors are actually looking for. They want an economic plan that is based on world-leading environmental, social, and governance factors. Do we have the skilled workforce? Are we incentivizing greater innovation? Do we have enough schools and hospitals? Are we addressing climate change? The answers to those questions matter. They drive investment decisions globally. Trillions of dollars are at stake. And so when Jason Kenney attacks our schools and our universities, when he dismantles our public health care system, when he prioritizes backroom politics over doing what's right for working people, he's working against all efforts to foster confidence and certainty in Alberta as a sure bet. It hurts us both abroad and here at home. I was first elected in 2008, and I've seen Alberta go through tough times, but I have to tell you, I've never seen anything like this. I know of a young woman who just finished her MBA, graduating with all the skills we need to build the future of this province. She had just gotten a new job and she was so excited. I asked where she was going to work. Turns out she was going to Vancouver. She wasn't staying because it was about more than just the job. She was leaving because she was worried about her kids and the future that they would have here. She saw growing divisiveness, rising pessimism, a lack of vision, and the loss of opportunity. We have one of the best educated and most skilled workforces in the world, but I am increasingly worried we are driving that talent out of the province. We can't let that happen. So we need to think differently about what it means for Alberta to be a success and what it will take for us to get there. We need a plan that goes beyond budget numbers to the well-being of every Albertan. Together, we can build a new and modern economic strategy that is founded on the following principles. First, our economic recovery must be squarely focused on economic security for Albertans. That means jobs. Not promises of jobs, but jobs. Jobs in our communities, jobs in emerging industries, jobs that pay the mortgage, jobs that last, that improve our quality of life, that give us a renewed sense of dignity, purpose, and community good. Secondly, the strategy must be equitable. It must involve all Albertans. This means women, racialized minorities, persons with disabilities, and quite frankly, all the working folks who did the heavy lifting during the last boom to build this province. None of them can be left behind. It must be an economy for all. Third, it must be a recovery that makes economic diversification a priority and rejects the UCP notion that diversification is a luxury for some other time. And let me be clear, this includes all industries, including exploring new opportunities while developing our strengths. Fourth, our strategy will also recognize the role of government and the public sector in supporting private sector growth. Because strategic government investments in our economy will always have a much bigger impact on economic growth than any corporate handout. And finally, we will not incentivize a race to the bottom. We will build a path to the top. Despite what Mr. Kenney says, we cannot cut our way to prosperity, and his so-called fiscal reckoning will only suffocate our economy. We can make investments today that drive and generate the economic growth of tomorrow. And that, in turn, creates the fiscal capacity needed to be sustainable over the long term. Because a real economic strategy is long-term and self-sustaining. It balances financial pressures by putting in place the economic and fiscal building blocks needed to achieve the outcome we all want. A society that's grounded in prosperity, where everyone gets a fair shot at success. And an economy that's ahead of the curve, with a future for our kids and their kids after them. If we adhere to these principles, we can develop a new economic vision for Alberta. But we can't do it alone. We need your ideas, all of them, regardless of political stripe. Because if we want this, we all have to do our part. In the coming weeks and months, we will share some initial proposals to spur economic growth with you, and we'll seek your feedback and input on our proposals. We'll host online conversations with public policy thinkers, business leaders, innovators, entrepreneurs, and more. We'll host discussions with Albertans who share a keen interest in our future. And we will come directly to your communities to engage with you face-to-face, from an appropriate physical distance, of course. I invite you to take part in all of this by visiting www.albertasfuture.ca. Together, we will explore ideas about how we can build a future that includes renewable and non-renewable energy sources. One where we stop shipping jobs out of the province and start creating value right here at home. We can generate even more value from our resources by extracting metals and carbon fiber from bitumen, turning natural gas into hydrogen, taking our expertise in drilling and gas wells to develop geothermal energy and extract lithium. We can build a future where the oil and gas industry works hand in hand with the renewable energy sector, so Alberta can become a world energy leader in all forms of energy. But we know there's more. We can evolve and adapt our agriculture industry to continue to feed a growing population in an uncertain world. We can support local producers in our local economy while making our food supply chain more secure and resilient. We can use our beautiful landscape to push our tourism industry to new heights. We can showcase our local talent to grow our arts and culture industry. We can work with Indigenous communities to unlock their economic potential while walking down the path of real reconciliation. We can connect our communities from downtown Calgary to remote family farms by building high-speed internet connectivity right across the province. We can grow the technology and artificial intelligence sectors that help other industries become more efficient and productive. And we can provide the right incentives and environment for small and medium-sized businesses to attract investment, grow, and create jobs that stay here in Alberta. And we will keep building in a way that facilitates economic growth and business development. Because I firmly believe that the government is well positioned to be the most strategic vehicle for creating the conditions that attract investment and create jobs. This means real investments in physical and social infrastructure like schools, hospitals, roads, bridges, digital infrastructure, transit, you name it. Because if we want a strong economy, we must invest in our institutions, not cut and Americanize them. Our post-secondary institutions can be the first to take groundbreaking ideas and turn them into products that support economic growth, which is why we must invest in higher learning to support the natural innovation and creativity of Albertans that will be critical for a future economy. This shows the value that our public sector can have in growing and diversifying our economy if we make smart, strategic decisions. We must also address the real challenges women face with securing and maintaining work. Our strategy will recognize quality, affordable childcare for what it truly is, an economic driver. The simple truth is our economy grows when we make sure more people can participate in it. Any plan that forces a woman to choose between her career and her family is no plan at all. We can change that. Taken together, these are just a few examples of ways we can build a modern, diversified economy. But let me say this is not exhaustive. I'm inviting you to add to what we're talking about today. This is a conversation, one we're having with every Albertan, one that will shape the future of our province. Because together, we can create a bold vision that gets everyday people back to work. One that sets Alberta up for a recovery today, while creating a stronger economy for tomorrow. And we won't leave Albertans behind, trapped in a never-ending race to the bottom. Our world is changing and Alberta's economy must change with it. So let's build on our strengths without being scared to forge a new path, where all sectors and all Albertans come together to support each other, to create a modern economy that is more resilient and better prepared for the future. I firmly believe that Alberta leads when we look forward, not back. When we have the courage to do things differently. And when we build on the past, but keep our eyes uncompromisingly cast to the future. I believe deeply in my heart that we have nothing but opportunity ahead of us. We are young, confident, diverse, and forward-looking. We are dreamers. And we won't stop until the rest of the world looks to Alberta with confidence, knowing that the future starts right here. That's the Alberta I'm fighting for. And that's the Alberta I want to fight for, along with all of you. Join us at albertasfuture.ca. Thank you.